All right, there we go. Happy Friday, everybody. I hope you guys can hear me. We had a little technical difficulty, but that's not going to stop us. We're going to keep going. So happy Friday. We are getting ready to go into part 3 of toxic relationships. Actually, how or what does a healthy relationship look like? Let me get my headphones in to make sure everybody can hear me. All right. There we go. Let's see. Usually I don't have this kind of issue, but for whatever reason, and it's okay. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. All right. I'm going to try to give people some time to get on the line. Happy Friday. A lot of stuff going on, so it is okay. A lot of stuff going on. That's not working. All right, we want to just give people a few minutes to get on the line. We are live. Let me tag a couple of sisters. Again, it's Friday. We're talking about toxic relationships, what a healthy relationship looks like. I hope you guys have had a blessed week. All right. Let's bring some queens on the line. Again, we want to help somebody today. We want to grow together. We want to heal together. That is our entire purpose for being women strong, right? Healing and growing together. So we'll give a few more people some time to get on the line. Woman strong, where you at, queens? It's Friday. Where you at, queens? Where you at? All right. We'll get started shortly. Yes, yes, yes. All right. Let us get started. Okay. I'm just going to invite some queens onto the line now. Let's see. All right. All right. If you are coming on now, send me a heart or a like to let me know that you can hear me. I want to make sure that I'm clear. I tried to do the laptop, but for some reason it was giving me a problem, so I had to go back to my cell phone. So just a little harder to see everybody. But if you can hear me, send me a like or send me a heart or something. I want to make sure you guys can hear me clearly. Let's see. Let's make sure. All right. Let's invite some people on the line. All right, we're getting ready to get started. Just was waiting for a few more people to get on. Okay, queens. It's interesting. All right. All right. So we're going to get started. I see 3 people. How are y'all doing? Happy Friday. All right. Making sure you guys can hear me clearly. And we are getting ready to go. So thank you for coming on. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. We are Woman Strong. Hi, Miss Tanya. Thank you for joining us. And so today we are on part 3, we've been talking about toxic relationships. We talked about the signs. We talked about, the accountability of toxic relationships. Why am I here? So today I wanted to talk about what a healthy relationship looks like. And so again, just a couple of house rules as we get started. This is a safe place. Ladies, this is a safe place. We are here to grow together. We are here to heal together. If I begin to talk about this information and you feel triggered or you feel something going on the inside, just go ahead and either inbox me or you can inbox CJ if you have. Sorry. Okay. If you have questions or concerns, this is what happens when you do live on a cell phone, when your grandbaby calls in and it blocks everybody. But again, if you have questions or concerns or you feel triggered, we do not want anyone to feel stressed by this information. This is information to empower us, to encourage us, and to inspire us. We want to grow together. We want to heal together. And again, we want to get help together. So again, this is a safe place. Go ahead and tag somebody that you think will benefit from this information. We want to tag as many queens as we can. We want to get this word out. What does a healthy relationship look like? So first, when we begin to deal with relationships, that baby gonna have to be on hold for a minute, CJ. She has her own phone, so she had to wait for Granny. Anyway, as we begin to deal with healthy relationships, we talked about what toxicity looked like. We talked about ownership. Why am I here? Why am I in this relationship? So now, after we've talked about all of that, we want to talk about what a healthy relationship looks like. And we know there are different relationships. We have family relationships. We have friend relationships or our homies. We have associates, those people we see from time to time. And we also have the romantic relationships, husband, wife, girlfriend, boyfriend, those type of things. For the most part, I'm talking about all relationships because you want a healthy relationship regardless of if you're with your husband or if it's with your spouse, your mother, your sister. You want to have a healthy relationship. But before dealing with any relationship, a few things that we need to do. I always give you pointers. I always give you things to take away. So the first thing I'm going to tell you that we need to do before we can talk about being healthy or being in a healthy relationship, the first thing we have to do is face the mirror, right? We have to look at ourselves, right? This is this accountability thing all over again. The most important relationship that you are ever going to have is with yourself. What do I mean by that? Y'all know I take notes, right? How you view and treat yourself is going to determine everything else in your life. How you treat yourself, how you view yourself is going to determine how other people treat you. It will also determine what you allow in your space and how you allow it to be. It's going to determine how you let her treat you, how you let him treat you, how you let your coworkers treat you. You have to be able to love yourself. You have to be able to care for yourself. So do you like you? That's the question I'm going to ask first. Before we can be healthy with anybody else, we have to be healthy with ourselves. Do you like you? Do you smile at yourself? Do you take your own self out to eat? Do you date yourself? Do you look in the mirror and say, girl, you cute. This is fire. Do you do that for yourself? If you cannot love you or love yourself, how are you going to expect anyone else to love you? How are you going to expect anyone else to treat you with respect? So we're going to start with ourselves first, ladies. Let's work on us. Let's make sure that we're clear with ourselves. Make sure that we are okay with how God created us. We're okay with big head and big eyes and full lips and all this melanin. What is it? Melanin. We're beautiful. We are who we are. This is how we were created. So we have to learn first to love ourselves, to be in a healthy relationship with ourselves first. So that's the first thing. The second thing you always hear me say, which I've said on these calls over the last few weeks, is to know thyself. How you start a thing is how you finish it. So what does that mean? You have to know yourself. What are your expectations? When you're talking about going into any relationship or opening up to let someone get in your space or get close to you, you have to set expectations. Whether you have to write that down so you can see them every day, so you can judge this person against what you're expecting for yourself. What are you willing to accept? A lot of us go into relationships and we don't have any expectations. we begin to just accept anything, and that's not good. If you do that, you're setting yourself up to be toxic. But we're talking about, what does a healthy relationship look like? A healthy relationship has expectations. A healthy relationship knows what they will accept and what they will not accept. What's a deal breaker for you? And some of you guys can think about this. If you're in a relationship now or preparing to go into a relationship, what is a deal breaker for you? I want to be in a relationship and I'm okay with you having kids, or I'm not okay with you having kids. I want to be in a relationship and you have a background or a criminal history. I'm not cool with that, or I am cool with that. This is, of course, from a romantic standpoint, but there may be other things. You need to ask yourself those questions. There is nothing wrong with you setting expectations and goals to have a healthy relationship. When you don't set expectations, you set yourself up for failure. You also set the other people that are going to be involved with you up for failure. That's when it becomes toxic. So you have to set expectations. You also have to set boundaries. Okay. Now this boundary thing, for me over the last few months has been coming up constantly. I am currently not in a relationship, but I desire to be in a relationship. So I've done the self-check. I've looked at myself in the mirror, because I'm old now. I'm not 21 anymore. I'm in my 40s. And some stuff I'm just not going to do. I just can't do it. I might need to try to work on it. Don't always follow my example, but I got to be honest with myself. But the boundaries thing has really been coming up, because as a person that was married at a younger age, and now here I am in my 40s trying to look at a relationship and trying to, set boundaries and what I expect, that is something that I really have to think about. What does that mean? Is it okay for me to let you come to my house after the first date? These are those little things you think about. And so here I am talking to y'all about boundaries, and I'm actually thinking about, what does that look like for Stephanie? What I do know, because I'm kind of old school, I know that it's okay for the man to pursue me. I know that they need to work for me. I don't need to make that pursuit easy, but I also want to be healthy. What I said, you got to look at yourself in the mirror. I need to also be healthy enough to allow him a little space, a little room. How are we going to get to know each other? How are we going to build this healthy relationship if I can't let you in? So you got to have boundaries. They are important. So whatever your boundaries are, ladies, I'm going to tell you to set those boundaries and stand firm on them. Why? Because when you set boundaries, what does that open up for? First of all, you're opening up yourself and you're setting the foundation for this that is going to be healthy. You're setting the foundation for telling this other person, this is who I am. This is what I believe in. And these are the boundaries that I've set. You're also opening up for positivity for you and building you up and developing you. And you're also opening up for communication. When you set boundaries for yourself, it's going to open up for communication. Why? Because you're trying to connect with someone else. You may have a different background. You may come from different places, but you very well maybe need to be in a relationship. So setting boundaries is a good thing. There's nothing wrong with setting boundaries. So if your boundary is no touch until we get married, stand firm. Set your boundary and don't waver from it. If your boundary is we not holding hands to December 1st, 2020, stand firm and don't waver from that, right? If your boundary is I am just not going to pamper a grown man, whatever that is, stand firm in it. It's okay for you to set healthy boundaries. It's okay for you to be clear on who you are and represent who you are to this other person, right? And I remember when I was raising my sons and they were growing up and they wanted to start dating, I used to tell them, if you like a girl and they like you, great, don't touch. And I used to tell them that's a boundary you set, because you're a young man, you're a gentleman, and you want to treat a woman with respect. And I used to tell my oldest son, if they cannot deal with you not touching them, then they're not the one for you. Move along. So I'm going to tell you the same thing. When you set your boundaries clearly, you are representing who you are and what your beliefs are. And if they cannot respect that, guess what? They're not your person. That relationship is not for you. Move along and stay healthy. The other part of what does a healthy relationship look like, I want to talk about holes versus being whole. So wholes, HOLES, versus being whole. So basically the definition breaks this down for me so clearly for me to share it with you. When you are whole, WHOLE, when you feel whole, that means you're complete. You feel unified. It's a state of being unbroken or undamaged. This is healthy. This is who you want to be. This is how you want to feel when you're in a healthy relationship. A healthy relationship signifies wholeness, meaning we have boundaries, we have expectations, there's growth, there's checks and balances. That is what feeling whole and being whole, and that will signify a healthy relationship. When you're feeling holes, meaning HOLES, there's a deficit. On the outside, you look like you got this stuff together, but on the inside, you're storming, you're crashing, right? So what does that look like? That's unhealthy. That's that part where you're lost. Like, I set this boundary and this boundary got crossed. I don't know how to get back to this boundary. Or I set this expectation and my expectations are not being met. When you get to that place, that is unhealthy. When you see that after you set your boundaries and maybe you've been walking with this person or in relation with this person for a little while, you need to pull back. Why do you need to pull back? You don't want to get broken. You don't want to be damaged. You don't want to become toxic. Remember who you are. Remember self-care, facing yourself in the mirror, and what you set for yourself going into this relationship. If you waver at any point, you set yourself up for a failure, and you also set up the other person. That is where toxicity begins. So after you look at that, checks and balances is an important thing. So you want to evaluate and reevaluate. You continually evaluate and you reevaluate. This is your check and balance system. Am I growing? Am I giving more than I receive? Are we healthy? Are we compatible? And so these are the things when you look at that, from being whole versus trying to fill holes. If you begin to start filling holes in the relationship, check yourself. Back up and reevaluate. What is it that I want? What is it that I set for myself? What is it that I'm expecting from this relationship? Whether it's family, whether it's friends, whether it's associative, or whether it's romantic. Checks and balance are always going to be needed. Everybody grows, right? With anything, we grow. If you're still in the same place you were at 20, now in a relationship, then I'm concerned for you, because that's where we become unhealthy. We become unhealthy when, one, we stop growing, and two, we stop growing together. If you guys are in a relationship now, especially husbands and wives, this is a lot of things that I see when people's marriages fail, or they begin to need counseling, or they go into separating and all this stuff comes up. It's because they've stopped growing together and they didn't check. They didn't evaluate. They did not reevaluate. They got married at 21 and they've been on autopilot ever since. But from 21 to 42 or from 21 to 32, there's growth because we develop. We should continually grow for ourselves and also with others. So you have to evaluate and reevaluate. Even when you think everything is okay. I have heard so many couples say, I didn't even realize that my spouse was unhappy. I didn't even, I thought everything was fine. We come home, I cook dinner, you're paying the bills, the kids are doing good. But something along the line between that person and their spouse has been ruptured. So you have to evaluate and reevaluate. That's the only way you're going to have continued growth. The key is, even when you think everything is okay, evaluate and reevaluate. You want to grow together, not grow apart. We're talking about what does a healthy relationship look like. So just to recap, and my question for you in this recap is, are you willing to do the work? Are you willing to put in the work? Because relationships are not easy. It's easy for us to feel love, and it's easy for us to be attracted, or it's easiest for us to connect. But what makes the relationship grow is the connection that we keep. It's hard for us to keep the connection. It's the disconnection that causes us to be toxic. So for a healthy relationship to flourish and thrive and grow, You have to be able and be willing to put in the work. The ingredients, yeah, love, trust, communication, all of those are key ingredients, but they're not complete without work. It takes work on both sides. Work on your part, working on yourself, as well as working with the other person. So I'm going to just say again to recap, we want to face the mirror. The first thing you got to do is deal with yourself. In order to have a healthy relationship, to know what a healthy relationship looks like, the most important relationship you're going to have is with yourself. How are you treating yourself? Do you like you? If you don't like you, deal with yourself first before trying to take on a relationship with someone else, especially a romantic relationship. Deal with your holes, or being whole versus feeling holes. And then make it clear, who are you? What do you expect from this relationship? Where are your boundaries? Write them down if you got to. Put them on your refrigerator. Put them in your phone. Make them your anthem. Whatever you need to do so you can stay grounded and represent the best part of you and not let anybody take that away from you. There is nothing wrong with you. Remember, we looked in the mirror and we said we like us. We like our hair. We like our full lips. We like our melanin. We like all. This is who I am, and this is who God created me to be. Take it or leave it. You can leave it, but I'm going to love it. So make sure you're clear with your boundaries. This is who I am. And if you're not, if you're not down with my boundaries or my expectations, you're not my person. And it's okay, right? Also, check it. Make sure you're evaluating and reevaluating every relationship. When stuff starts to be stagnated or you feel something, check that thing. What are you checking it against? Who you are, what y'all boundaries are, and what are your expectations, right? Even if you think it's going good, check it anyway, because growth is required. We have to grow. It's required. And the other thing I'm going to tell you is to honor one another, especially speaking to those that are in marriages or y'all have been in relationships for a while. The good, the bad, the ugly, the indifferent. We're human. We're going to need a little grace from one another. But the honor that you give to each other. When you love someone, when you're in a healthy, functioning relationship, there is honor there. What does that mean? Not only do I love you, I respect you. Even if we disagree, we're going to respectfully disagree. Me disagreeing with you is not going to tear me down or make me feel like I'm not good enough or that I can't speak eloquently or I'm ugly. That's not what that's about. We're going to honor one another, right? And then most importantly, do the work. Everyone wants to be loved. Everyone wants to be understood and respected. I hear that a lot. I just want this. I just want to, want them to understand where I'm coming from. I just want him to pay attention to me, right? But are you doing the work? You're saying a lot. But are you doing the work? Because it makes no sense. You have all these ingredients. You had the attraction. You had the connection. You've had some good time. You've had some memories. But if you're not putting in work, it's not just about the other person. You got to face you. And then you got to come together and you got to do the work. That's the main thing for the healthy relationship. You have to do the work. In order for you to feel good about yourself, you have to do the work. And for you to be able to flourish with others, you have to do the work. And the last thing that I leave you with today, for you to stay healthy, I always go to the Lord because that's my source. If you're writing notes or you want a reference, Proverbs 4:23 says, guard your heart, for out of it flows the issues of life. So what does a healthy relationship look like? First of all, you got to guard your heart. You got to be all right with who you are. You got to like you. Most importantly, you need to love you because this is you. Remember, we talked about being your best self. If you are in a relationship where you are not the best version of you, that is not a healthy relationship. So what does a healthy relationship look like? Look at yourself in the mirror first. Do you like you? Start with you, and what you exude out will exude in your relationships. What you love about you, that's what you'll put forth in the relationships. What's healthy about you, that's what will be healthy in your relationship. You set the standard. You set the boundary. You set the expectation. So stay healthy. Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope that I helped someone despite our technical difficulty. Again, if you missed the live, you can always catch the replay. If you have any questions or concerns, or if there's anything that's triggering you right now, please don't hesitate to send us a message, DM myself or DM CJ. Again, we don't have all the answers, but we are here to support you, to try to get you the help that you need. We are healing together. We are woman strong. We are here to empower, encourage, and inspire. You guys have a beautiful, beautiful weekend. Happy Friday. Stay safe, and stay well. I love you guys, and we hope to see you soon. Blessings upon blessings. Love you.